to be able to help with the science issue that is going on within the country. For a number of people, they are asking, is this really the issue? Is it the teachers, or is there more here? In the Senior 4 results that were also released this year, guess what? Chemistry, physics were failed. Once again, the science subjects that are compulsory, we're just not doing it right. What is going on? So should we just rethink this whole compulsory thing and just say from 2004, now that we're in 2019, something needs to change? We're going to have that conversation with Mr. Alexander Chokwijuka. He is the author, entrepreneur, and education analyst. And of course, you as well, by sampling your social media feedback. And if you can, make that call. I'm also here with David Rukasi.
Good morning, Alexandria.
Good morning, David.
First of all, I am not one of those people that believes that when we fail to do things, we should scrap them.
Sure.
But it turns out that these subjects, one, the students are failing them.
Sure.
So do we need to even get into the reason why they are failing them?
I would like to ask you a question, David. If you fell sick and you try a certain kind of medicine, for 1, 2, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, do you keep on using the same medicine when you're not getting well?
Definitely not.
You don't. You drop that medicine, get an option. That is the best. I also would like to mention to you that Uganda just has the wrong priorities, for its development and stuff like that. The teacher trained to teach history and CRE that I am, I never forget the fact that education is meant to groom and bring up citizens who can comfortably and efficiently interact with the environment, to make the best out of it and to make it even much better. Uganda is not a scientific country. Uganda is an agricultural country. She has just mentioned to you, 80% of Ugandans are either directly or indirectly employed in the agriculture sector. What we should be doing is that we should be focusing on those things that we think have a direct link with what actually defines us. That is when we shall get the best out of it, and we shall really work and develop as a country. But for as long as we still think that sciences should be compulsory, I scored, the best I scored was a credit 6 in biology. I had a 6 in chemistry, I had a 7 in physics. For starters, if you say that our focus as a country is sciences, you would say that I'm a failure. But is that what exactly it is? Is there life that we live outside the sciences? And is that what our focus should be?
Well, one will say, if agriculture is inborn, is inbred in us, then there is no reason for us to focus on that.
That's not true.
Let's focus on the sciences, something that we clearly are not very good at,
Sure.
but we need to improve on.
Sure.
Because let's be honest,
can I ask you a question? Where do you come from?
Uganda, Kampala.
Uganda, Kampala.
Yes.
What's your staple food? Matoke.
Any food really.
Let's talk about matoke. Yes,
yes.
Matoke. If I asked you, how long does a banana tree take to actually be ready for consumption? How long does it take?
I have no idea.
Thank you. And that's your staple food, David. So, but if I asked you, how many times does a pen drum, is it called a pen drum, bob or something, how many times does it like this when you suspend it, you're able to say 77 times. Does that really have anything direct to do with what we actually do today? And David, you're not alone. Very many people out there, they don't have this information.
Mr. Alexander, we're
Yes.
saying that the focus needs to move to agricultural and entrepreneurial subjects.
Yes.
We have sciences that move from physics, biology, we have home science as well. I did home science, I love home science, and I applied to date. We also have mathematics, and we know with agriculture, entrepreneurship, you can never separate them from mathematics. So are we saying that we drop all the sciences, or we just move it such that people can actually have the choice to make? Not compulsory,
Sure.
but you can choose it out of your own volition. Do we say that then?
The reason why a government like government of Uganda comes out to say that let these subjects be compulsory, that means that looking at their development plan, and looking at the desires that the country has, that is where the focus is. What that means is that even if you failed history, but at least pass sciences, pass physics, pass biology, pass this and the other, that is where our focus is. Now, for me as a child, when you mention such to me, I know that, hey, here, what matters is this and the other. Yet, between me and you appreciate that these could be important as well. Probably, let me just throw in something for you. You did home science, which you love so much.
Yes.
I'm very sure right now you're not doing home science per se.
I'm doing home science in my home.
In your home?
Yes.
Not at NTV?
No.
and it's NTV that brings bread onto your table.
Yes, but home science keeps my family intact.
Well, you'd have chosen to keep home and not
you chose the wrong battle when you started home science and
no. Because you see, one thing is, we all have these things that we love and we do and stuff like that. But certainly, it is not really what should be taking all our time. I trained to be a teacher, but the kind of teaching I do, I don't think I would be any happy if I were in a classroom somewhere in Chanamkaka teaching. I tell people always that there are those things that we don't even need to study, but those are the things that actually move our societies. So how about if we looked at these and we focus exactly on those? Make agriculture compulsory, right from maybe senior one or whatever. Then the Davids of this world will grow up knowing that, hey, if I want beans, this is what it's supposed to be.
So let's not drop the sciences in totality.
Let's not drop them.
Let's allow students to select if they want.
So not forcing, but then there's also this part, because when you talk about agriculture, one would say that we need chemistry and biology at some point, because besides being a farmer, there's a person who's going to come up with the drug that is going to be necessary for that plant to survive. So things like that, and saying, let the child choose. Looking at A-level, what has happened? They were forced. Some who decided to continue with this in their A-level from O-level have failed. So what is the issue if we are failing?
For instance, to give you an example, I always argue very vehemently about our education system. And why I say that we have the wrong priorities is that the countries which are doing well with their education system, they identify the potential of the kid, and they develop exactly that. I may need mathematics in the businesses that I do, but certainly I don't need to learn a lot of algebra and matrix and stuff like that. I needed to know that 1 + 1 is 2. I need that mathematics to be able to do some bit of basic numeracy for my business. Maybe I need a chemistry to understand that, for instance, when I find a drug that has a number of chemicals, I can make sense out of it. When someone tells me, maybe I will know. But I don't have to study all these, weird things. And at the end of the day, I realize that, look, that's not all I needed. I needed something better.
Mr. Alexander, the president is not a big fan of you. Recently, during the NRM SEC, he made it very clear. Let me just read this to you.
Sure.
He said, the leaders must appreciate the importance of science and technology to drive socio-economic transformation. He said, ideology and strategy. Societies that continue lagging behind in science and technology are in danger of being squandered, dominated, or even exterminated by others, as has happened to some races in the past. Do you think that any of the president's children has done sciences? Well, do as I say, not as I do.
So, do you think that you who has done sciences, you are better placed than his children?
Is this a case of being better placed or putting our country in a better place?
The president is just being politically correct and trying to sound relevant, because most of us think that...
Relevant to who?
To the people. Because between me and you,
we are the people who are complaining.
You see where you come from. If you go and say you study sciences and become a doctor, say Dr. David, everyone gets excited. In the village, you are the greatest, huh? But in actual sense, the other day someone was making a joke that that our education system, the clever kids, They get A's, they go and become engineers, doctors, yeah. Then the second ones, the second class ones, they go and study BCom, MBA, they come and manage these guys' businesses. Then the third class, they go and become politicians and they lead these two. And the fourth class, which is the worst, they go and become pastors. So for me, I think it is something to do with what exactly does someone become? Because, I mean, I don't want to find that my potential is crippled because so and so made a statement that we should focus on sciences and therefore I must do sciences because that's what the country needs. I will give you another example that Albert Einstein said that everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live all its life believing it is stupid. I want to be honest with you. It is not those things that we think that should define in those children. Like she says, there is a kid who wants to become a musician. Probably mathematics may not make a lot of sense to them. There's a kid who wants to become a lawyer. Probably chemistry may not make a lot of sense to them.
So are you saying that we are majoring in minors and minoring in majors?
Absolutely.
So right now we just actually did some, great news highlights of London. Of course, now there's a lab there and they've been able for the second time, pretty much they're close to finding a cure for HIV and AIDS. So what you're saying is that we should let the first world, them that have the technology and the skill and all these capabilities to stick to science. Yet here at home, let's stick to what even Mother Nature has blessed us with and major on that to grow our economy. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Because if you ask me, I don't think that our ambitions as a country now is to go to the moon or is to secure space somewhere in Mars to fight with America and stuff like that. We're still struggling with the basics. Let's first develop agriculture, have food security. We're supposed to be the hub of, the food hub for most of these countries.
Right.
Let's focus on that, and that's what will help us grow.
So in other words, you're saying instead of spending all this money on Kira EV and company, we should spend it more on, coming up with better farming ideas and solutions to all the problems that we have.
Exactly, because
in the farming sector.
I'm very sure if that Kira EV was produced, I'm not sure you would buy it.
We're still trying to test drive it.
Yourself, you would not even trust it that these guys have actually.
The cost is quite big, though.
Go with the cost on that one. Let's go with the cost. But one thing that you mentioned is also the fact that parents need to be a part of this conversation. What are they telling their children?
And unfortunately, they are not.
So because we can go ahead and blame the Ministry of Education and say that their priorities are totally wrong. But why are we not focusing on the parent who's saying you need to be a lawyer? You being a farmer, how can I take you to school to be a farmer? You have given you a degree.
You're going to be a doctor. I want her to be an engineer.
You see, you know about the vicious cycle of poverty. You are produced by a poor person, you go to a poor school, you get a poor job, you do it like that. It keeps, it's the same thing. These parents are products of the same system. That's the belief. So
what do we do? Do we eliminate them from this process?
The truth is that all hope is not lost. That from today you can change your mindset, and say, I think my child does not have really to do this. If, for instance, if your child comes home and they have told them to draw a pot and he has drawn it badly, and then you start thinking, oh my God, my child is just stupid. No, he's just not an artist, and that is it. So if the child comes back with an F9 in chemistry, you don't say, now I'm finished, I'm going to be the whole laughter for the whole village and stuff like that. No, probably your child will do better in history and he'll become a very good lawyer or something.
You know what I'm getting from you is that even the agricultural space is, metamorphosizing in that even if you're in IT, there's a space for you in agriculture.
True.
Even if you're in sciences, for instance, there's a space for you in agriculture. Agriculture pretty much, is an umbrella for all these other skills.
Exactly.
And if you position yourself well, then you have a market.
Yes. Because you realize that if we say sciences are not compulsory, but are those that really love the sciences, they will do them. a few of them. And if we focus on them, those few, they will be able to do well. We shall get innovators. We shall start getting. I mean, look at Israel. Israel, I think, is now leading in technology, and they have used technology to actually mechanize their agriculture, and they are really doing well.
Right.
So if we get a few Davids who feel they want to do chemistry and master that science behind chemicals and all that, and they can come and, for instance, they can, so that we don't have to wait for the UK to get for us medicine for HIV. If anything, I don't think that the HIV levels are higher in UK than Uganda. So we would focus on that. But the mistake we are making is that we are thinking that everyone should actually do this, which is wrong. And because of that, we're wasting a lot of resources, we're wasting a lot of time, instead of getting the 10 that are interested, that have the capacity to study the sciences. And we also develop some bit of, focused potential in them, so that at the end of the day we can get fine innovators, fine astronauts or something.
As you mentioned, the whole agricultural
I'd love to thank Alexander for one thing. For the first time, the only people that have managed to put me in that same bracket of medicine were my parents, and those were just dreams, and he just put me back in that bracket of the Davids, so that we can go ahead.
Only David would say things like that. But something about agriculture that you mentioned is that maybe we need to be focusing on that, but is even our school system ready to focus on that?
Do we have that in our curriculum?
We have agriculture in our curriculum, but I remember studying agriculture, and a number of things were not as practical as they need to be, because agriculture requires that you need to go to the studies. If you're going to teach something, you need to be a part of it and touch the plant, know about the plant. David knows about matoke, but has no idea how long it takes. Yes, all we think is that let's plant, get the harvest, sell.
Even the teachers that are teaching agriculture in school, farmers themselves.
So where do we put that, our education system vis-a-vis the agriculture?
You see, talking about the education system, like I said at the beginning, we just have the wrong priorities. And right now, if I should take you back to the major intention why education is actually important in society, it is supposed to help us make sense of the environment. Now, that is even not being done. At the end of the day, you realize that we just go to school and we finish and we go.
Right.
And there's nothing like connection between what we study and what is in the environment and what we become out of that.
Okay. So as it stands, maybe we need to have agriculture becoming compulsory. Anyone agreeing? Everyone went silent here for a second.
We don't agree because we don't like that.
I think it needs to start from the mindset change, from family level.
Make it compulsory at home to go to the garden.
But you see again, if you just made a roundup, people who have gone through our education system, ask them how many are doing exactly what they studied.
Just on this table, I would be a victim of that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander Kwijo-Chuka. Yes, I got that right. I'll learn. The author, entrepreneur, and education analyst right here. Thank you so much for your views. Very important. Keep your views coming. Agriculture, sciences, compulsory or not? What should be our focus? The hashtag is morning at NTV. Don't go too far. Morning at NTV still continues.